In the annals of human history, few events have reshaped the world as profoundly as the Second World War. A global conflict that spanned from 1939 to 1945, it involved the globe's most powerful nations, split into two opposing military alliances, the Allies and the Axis. This war was a pivotal period that shaped the world we live in today. The seeds of this colossal conflict were sown with the rise of Adolf Hitler in Germany. In 1933, Hitler came to power and began to rebuild Germany's military strength, blatantly violating the Treaty of Versailles that had ended the First World War. Meanwhile, in the Far East, Imperial Japan, hungry for resources and territory, invaded China in 1937. The war officially started on the 1st of September 1939 when Germany invaded Poland. This act of aggression was the final straw for Britain and France, who declared war on Germany 2 days later. The world watched in horror as Hitler's military machine swept across Europe. The conflict escalated when Italy, led by Benito Mussolini, joined the war on Germany's side in 1940. That same year, Germany launched a massive air campaign against Britain, known as the Battle of Britain. But Britain held fast. In the East, the situation grew more complicated. In June 1941, Hitler broke the non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union and launched a massive invasion. This marked the beginning of a brutal war on the Eastern Front. The year 1941 also marked the entry of the United States into the war. Following the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor by Japan in December, America declared war on Japan and subsequently on Germany and Italy. As the war progressed, the tide began to turn. The Battle of Stalingrad, which raged from 1942 to early 1943, ended with a crushing defeat for Germany. This marked a significant turning point in the war. In the Pacific, the Battle of Midway in June 1942 was a devastating blow to the Japanese Navy. The Allies began to push back, island by island, in a strategy known as island hopping. The final phase of the war saw the Allies closing in on Germany from both the east and the west. In June 1944, the Normandy landings, also known as D-Day, marked the start of a major offensive against Germany by the Western Allies. By May of 1945, Germany surrendered unconditionally. In the Pacific, the war concluded with the dropping of 2 atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, leading to Japan's surrender. This overview of World War II paints a picture of a world in turmoil, a time of unprecedented destruction and loss. The rise of Hitler and the Nazi Party, the invasion of Poland, the Battle of Britain, the invasion of the Soviet Union, America's entry into the war, the turning tides at Stalingrad and Midway, the D-Day landings, and finally, the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These are the events that marked this cataclysmic period in our history. World War II was a conflict of epic proportions, a war that changed the world. It was a time of heroes and villains, of great courage and terrible atrocities. It was a war that showed us the best and the worst of humanity. And it is a war that we must never forget, for it is only by remembering the past that we can hope to shape a better future.